Thank you, Madam Chair and Ranking Member Graves. Just kind of quickly, thank you for your service. I know you have a difficult task, and sometimes I'm sure it's not it's maligned in many instances. But we just ask you to continue to do the good job you're doing. And obviously, most taxpayers are most concerned with fairness. Yeah. I think that's the issue that most are most concerned with, from the standpoint that while they don't like to pay taxes, they're more than willing to do so as long as they believe that their neighbor and everybody else that they are acquainted with pays their fair share as well. And I think it's incumbent on us as legislators to make sure we pass laws that don't impact things in an unfair way, and hopefully you will enforce those laws in a fair manner as well. Along that line, I've got an email here, if you'll bear with me just a moment. One of my constituents emailed me this, and we were talking about instances where we have concerns with impacts on small business, and he's a stockbroker. He's with Morgan Stanley, and his CPA filed his tax return the 24th of March, and electronically, and didn't get his refund back in a timely fashion, and tried to check with the IRS office, and the only explanation was that because he had a Morgan Stanley tax ID, it must have been flagged because of the TARP funds. Is that, are we flagging certain businesses for oversight, for further audits? Is this, I mean, this is just an isolated instance, somebody just shot an opinion off the top of their head, or is that kind of stuff going on?
Oh, I don't think anyone would have said that. So I'm happy to look into that, and I encourage you to send it to my office. But individuals file. We're not targeting any individuals because of any broad government program. So that's a surprise to me.
Okay. Well, I'm just curious because obviously the Morgan Stanley folks do have some TARP funds. I'm just wondering if that's a broad category that you're as well looking at a little bit differently.
We certainly are not looking at any individuals. Certainly, there's a lot of new moving pieces that are happening as the federal government is getting involved in trying to shore up financial institution in lots of pieces of the economy. We're quite aware that when people are, or when institutions are given support by the federal government, they've got an obligation to pay their taxes, but we're not doing anything to target any individuals of institutions with any sort of other piece. And so if they filed on March 24th, if you file electronically and get a direct deposit, you usually get a refund within about 10 days. If you file using paper and you get a check, it can be up to 6 weeks. And so I'm assuming this person, if they filed electronically, is trying to use direct deposit. I encourage them to call our 800 number and find out where they are in the process. They can let them know.
All right, thank you. To follow up further, I noticed one of the things I think is important, we're talking about small businesses today, and many of them are partnerships, S-corps, who oftentimes run those dollars through their personal income taxes. And just kind of curious if you have some thoughts, I know that the administration is, the tax policy in the new budget is indicating they're going to try and tax those individuals over $250,000, which would put a lot of these partnerships and S-corp folks directly into the category of being taxed. Do you have an idea of how many businesses that would be, or how many individuals file partnerships and S-corps as a percentage of the small businesses in this country?
You know, small businesses come in a number of forms, and that's why sometimes when you look at our statistics, it's hard to get a grasp on small businesses. The vast majority actually come in 1040 Schedule C, sole proprietors and others. Then there's a number of C Corps, which are small corporations, which is if you look at our statistics there. And then there's lots of people who have flow-throughs, S Corps, partnerships, LLCs. I don't have the exact number on me now. I can get back to you. What I will tell you, though, is since 2000, the number of flow-through entities filing returns for those entities, so S Corps, LLCs, partnerships, has increased about 50%, while the number of C corporations has been relatively flat. And for us, that's an interesting phenomenon, because if you think about us doing our job, my belief is anytime you're running a regulatory type agency or government agency, there's all sorts of incorporations that make a difference, but what really matters is the economics that you're looking at. And so it makes our job much harder, I will tell you, because it's much more complex to look at a partnership where it's really a network of lots of other activities flowing through that partnership than it is a C corporation where the taxes and the entity all stops right there.